Judge Arthur Engoron under investigation for allegedly receiving unsolicited advice before fining Trump $454 million, almost a half $1 trillion. This guy's getting is being fined for something that wasn't even illegal. He didn't break any laws. I mean, they're really coming after Trump from all angles. I talk about it all the time. And it's coming from this weirdo judge, and I'm calling him weird, and that's coming from a therapist calling someone weird. This guy is a really a weirdo. Well, he's not supposed to be your judge. You're not supposed to be talking about a case to other people as a judge. If you're charged with working the case, you shouldn't be discussing it with someone, and he did. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about this investigation. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. All right, let's talk about this news here. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit's Jim Hoff. It's the second article I'm going over from Jim Hoff today. But he reports that Judge Arthur Engoron is now under investigation after claims surfaced that he received unsolicited advice from a prominent New York City real estate attorney, Adam Leitman Bailey, weeks before ordering former President Donald Trump to pay a hefty $454 million judgment. The investigation by the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct seeks to determine whether Engoron violated judicial conduct rules, NBC New York reported. In March, Engoron ordered Trump to pay more than $355 million fine, and barred Trump, quote, from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation or other legal entity in New York for a period of 3 years. Trump was also required to pay interest on the penalties, bringing the total amount to $454 million. Again, this is egregious. I can't believe something like this is happening. He's being charged with fraud when no one got frauded. No one was a victim of this fraud. Frauded, is that a word? No one got frauded. Y'all get what I'm saying. Engoron claimed Trump and each of the defendants, quote, participated in aiding and abetting the conspiracy to commit insurance fraud by their individual acts in falsifying business records and valuations, causing material fraudulent SFC to be intentionally submitted to insurance companies. Now, think about this for a minute. You have a business. You don't actually do the valuation. You hire companies. You hire people to come in and evaluate your company. They come up with the numbers. And so Trump went in, hired a company to come up with the numbers. They came up with the numbers. The bank comes in with their own evaluator and look at the numbers, and they come up to an agreement. That's how things work. So where is the fraud here? Where is the fraud? But Eric Trump and Don Jr. were also ordered to pay $4 million each. Letitia James sought $370 million in damages when there were no victim. Again, this is what I've been saying. There's no victim in this fraud case. And she also sought to ban Trump and his sons from operating any businesses in New York. She accused Trump of inflating his assets and defrauding lenders and insurance companies despite having no evidence or rationality. I don't understand how. Well, I do understand. But it amazes me that the District of New York, the City of New York, got away with this. You charges someone with fraud when there was no victim. But a judge ruled that President Trump can post a $175 million bond to cover Letitia James's $464 million judgment. Bailey stated publicly that he spoke with Judge Engoron 3 weeks before the decision, advising him to get it right. Although Engoron has denied any influence from Bailey, the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct is reportedly investigating whether Engoron violated judicial conduct rules according to NBC New York. Of course he did. You're not supposed to be discussing a case, an active case. That's what anyone. That's why when the FBI is investigating and stuff like that, and you ask them about an active case, they say, well, we can't discuss it. That's the policy for most cases, especially if you're a judge and you're charged with ruling on a determination of something. Why would you go in private and discuss this case? Quote, I actually had the ability to speak. This is what the guy said. I actually had the ability to speak to him 3 weeks ago, Bailey told NBC New York on February 16th. Quote, I saw him in the corner at the courthouse and I told my client I need to go. And I walked over and we started talking. I wanted him to know what I think and why. I really want him to get it right. Bailey maintains he had no personal connection to any lawsuits involving Trump and is not a fan of the former president. He claims to have advised Engoron that a ruling imposing such a substantial fine could damage New York's economy. Bailey also mentioned that Engoron, quote, had a lot of questions, about certain cases during their conversation. In response, Judge Engoron spokesperson Al Baker vehemently denied any impropriety, stating that, quote, no ex parte conversation concerning this matter occurred between Judge Engoron and Mr. Bailey or any other person. The decision Justice Engoron issued on February 16th was his alone, deeply considered, and wholly uninfluenced by this individual. The Latin term ex parte means from one party. In legal terms, it refers to a legal proceeding that is conducted without the presence or notice of the other party. It can also refer to improper contact between a judge or party and a lawyer. New York State rules of judicial conduct explicitly prohibit judges from engaging in ex parte communications except when seeking advice from a disinterested expert. According to New York law, quote, if a judge inadvertently receives any unauthorized ex parte communication bearing upon the substance of a matter, the judge shall make provision promptly to notify the parties of the substance of the communication and provide the parties with an opportunity to respond. So he should have noted this. He should have let him know. He should have cut the guy off right then and there and be like, you know what? I can't talk about this. I'm sorry. And keep it moving. No, he sat there, listened, and asked questions to this guy. Now pretending like it didn't happen. It's crazy. It's crazy that this stuff is happening. I can't believe that our former president has to pay over $500 million. Did I say $500 billion earlier? I might have said $500 billion. I meant $500 million. I can't believe that our former president had to pay almost $500 million for fraud that wasn't actually committed. This is America, where lawfare reigns supreme. If you go against the grain, if you go against the political party, the Democrats who's in power, they will come after you every time, and it's scary. We're living scary times. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.